This video demonstrates how to make this card, which I have named White Christmas. I'm showing you here some different variations of the same card. There's the first one. Here's another one. This one with blue around the edges. This one is not as 3D as the others. It's more one-dimensional. And this one again using a different trim around the edges. So I'll show you now what supplies we need. For supplies, you'll need 2 sheets of paper. I'm using white for this demonstration, but I've also made this card with cream and a soft, very soft tan or brown, and they all work well. So for your basic card, this is 8.5 by 5.5, folded in half, and you'll need a second sheet of paper for your stamping. The stamps I've used, the Santa is Santa Silhouette by A. Muse. Wishing You Joy is from Colette Hall. And this one, Chestnut Lane, is from GCS Art Stamps. For ink, I've stamped with Apricot Brown by Making Memories. It's a dye ink. And I've used a chalk ink. I'm going to be using blue to soften the edges of the torn parts in this card. You'll also need some 3-dimensional dots to give it the dimensional effect. And for trim, 2 glaze pens, 1 green and 1 red, to color the wreath on the door and the Christmas tree in the window. And for sparkle, this is Spirit White glitter glue, but you could use any diamond or clear kind of glitter glue, and a blue glitter glue. And I'm also using this white 3-dimensional glue for the snow. And lastly, you will need a little bow for trim and pretty good cutting scissors. So that's your supplies. Now for stamping, you stamp Chestnut Lane twice on your white paper. And the one that's going to be on the bottom, you also stamp Santa's sleigh over top of the chimney like that. Now, if one house turns out better than the other house, the bad house needs to be on the bottom, and save your good house for the top. You also, using the card that you're going to be using for the base, stamp Wishing You Joy along this bottom corner right here. Next, tear out the house that's going to be on the bottom. Just rip it around the edges, and when that's done, I'm taking my powder blue chalk and I'm just going around the edges like that. So go around all of the edges to soften it, and when that's done, when you've done that, use your 3-dimensional glue dots and glue it on top like that, leaving space for Wishing You Joy. Now that your first layer is attached with your glue dots, take the second Chestnut Lane stamping that you did, and using good trimming scissors, cut out this little tree and this bigger tree and cut out the house. When I cut out the house, I don't cut the chimney. I go across there and leave the chimney out of the cutting. So that's your next step. Now that you have your 3 little pieces cut out, this is the tiny tree, so I've put a glue dot on the bottom of the tiny tree, and I am going to stick it right on top like that. And the larger tree, I have a couple of glue dots on it, so it's going to go on like that. And the house also has some glue dots on the bottom, so I'm going to stick it right like that. So now you have your 3 pieces joined on. So your next step would be to take your glaze pens, and you might put a little bit of green on these trees, and this tree in the window, the Christmas tree, I put some green on, and the roof, the wreath here, I put some green around the wreath, and I use my red to color the bow in the wreath. So that will be your next steps. Now the coloring is done, so the next step will be to use your three-dimensional glue, which is white, and I won't demonstrate it here, but I put white over top of the roofs here and white up here on the roof and some on the steps, and I put some more on the Christmas trees, and I put little piles of white representing snowbanks, because this white really represents the snow. So you do that next with your three-dimensional glue. So now I've added the three-dimensional white glue to represent the snow. So the next move is to take your two colors of glitter glue, diamond and blue, and just make little dabs all over the card with diamond and blue glitter. That represents snowflakes. And your card is finished. The last step, of course, was to attach your little bow down here in this corner using another three-dimensional glue dot. So there we have the completed card. And put anything you like on the inside. If you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to go to scrappingbydesign.com and visit my blog and website, where I have many more crafting videos for your enjoyment.